Hey guys, so today what we're going to be talking about is going a little further into the measures of central tendency. We already looked at mean, median, mode, and range, and I'm going to have you guys take out the packet that I gave some of you, but if you don't have it, it's attached to the Google Classroom. I have filled out most of the information, the ones that are on the Google Classroom, but others will have to fill it out if you have the one from home. The top of the packet says, "What are the measures of central tendency?" Now, on top of the packet that I handed out has a do now. We're going to skip over that and we're just going to review the three definitions that mean is our average, median is the middle number when numbers are ranged from least to greatest, and the mode is the number that appears the most. So we're just going to practice a couple together. First, we're going to look at the bottom one. It says put the numbers in order from smallest to greatest, and then find the measures of central tendency. Show all work. So I'm going to have you guys pause this video and try it on your own. Okay? So when arranged from least to greatest, the numbers should look like this: 18, 18, 18, 19, 19, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. So if you have that, great, check it off. The mean, when we add up all the numbers, we get 197, and we would divide by the 10 numbers, and we would get 19.7 for our mean. Hopefully you got that. The median, when arranged from least to greatest, is going to be, because there's an even amount, it's 19, because it's the average of 19 and 19. And the mode are 18 and 19. So hopefully you had all three of those down. If you didn't, go back and check your work. Okay? So what I want you to do is pause the video and make sure you're copying all the notes down. If you didn't get those notes down, make sure you go back and look at where we got the information. And we're going to try one more together. Actually, I'll have you, I guess we'll do it one more together. So we're going to look at this. It says, given the table of numbers in order, put the numbers in order from smallest to greatest and find the measures of center. Now we're really only looking at the test scores. We're not looking at how many people scored the test. We're just looking at those 5 numbers. So when we arrange it from least to greatest, we get 78, 81, 86, 90, and 92. Now I want you guys to find the mean, median, and mode. Pause the video to do this. So the mean should have been 427 divided by 5, which is 85.4. The median is 86. And the mode, there was no mode. No number appeared the most. Okay? So like I said before, make sure you copy this down. Pause the packet to copy it down, and then we're going to flip to the next page. On the next page, we're going to get into the important information that we're talking about this chapter, which has to do which measures of center best represent the information. But before we can do that, we want to talk about some vocab words. An outlier. An outlier is an extreme data value that's either really small or really large, and it's outside the data. So sometimes when we're trying to figure out which measure of center, because these are all averages, would best represent our data, we have to look for certain criteria. If there's no outliers, we're always going to choose the mean, like we would do when you guys are averaging a test score. If there is an outlier, however, we are going to use the median. We always look to see if there's any other gaps. If there are any other gaps or there are outliers, when we would choose the median. Then we also would choose the mode if more than the data appears the same amount of times. Like say you have like 20 95s on a test and you get a 20, you're going to pick 95 as your test grade. If there's a lot of the same number occurring, you're going to pick the mode as the best measure of center. And this is a big deal next year when you get into algebra. So these are 3 main concepts that I would love for you to understand. Okay? So we're going to try 2 together, and then we're going to talk, and then you guys are going to try some on your own. So if we go to the next page or go down to the bottom, we look at the data from before. If we look at example 1, when we were dealing with the numbers from smallest to greatest, we found that the mean was 19.7. The median was 19, and the mode was 18 and 19. Now, since most of the information was sort of in the same area, like they're all pretty much in the 19 area, we're going to pick the mean. There was no outlier. There was no really big mode. So the mean would best represent the data because there was no outlier. And no extreme mode. Okay, so make sure you copy this down, get this information because this is another piece of information you're going to need to know. Okay, so pause the video. If you're copying the notes, make sure you go back and copy it. Then we're going to look at example number 2. Example number 2, when we looked at the data, we had 78, 81, 86, 90, and 92. Now, we noticed that the mean was 85, the median was 86, and there was no mode. So obviously, we're not going to pick the mode as the best measure of center. Now, is there an obvious outlier here? Is there a number that's really outside of the data? And the answer is no. So we're still going to pick the mean again for this measure of center. So we're going to say the mean is the best measure because there's no outlier. And there's no mode or extreme mode. So when you guys do your examples for classwork today, you definitely are going to have to look at them a little bit more intently. They're not all going to be mean. There is going to be one that's median. There is going to be one that's mode, and there is definitely going to be one that's probably mean or median. But just make sure you're looking at all the data and see that you can find the best measure of center. So what I'd like you to do is just make sure that you are, if you stop the video, make sure you wrote down all the notes. And once you've taken down all the necessary notes, go back to the Google Classroom and complete the Google form on measures of central tendency. They're the same questions that are in the packet, but just in digital form. And that will give me a little bit more information as to whether or not you got the lesson for today. Okay, so hope you are good and see you soon.